Hey guys, Loco here, and today's topic is gonna be overpowered picks. So for the last few patches, like as far as I can remember, like from halfway of Spring Split, MSI, and now even with Summer Split starting, there's been a group of champions that have been incredibly OP, and I wanted to go over them, why they're strong, how to counter them, and yeah. So part one is going to be on solo laners. So yeah, there's this 6 solo laners that can be flexed in both mid and top lane, so it makes drafting incredibly difficult. And not only that, these champions are just overpowered even without the flex part. So let's start. So first up, and the most OP we have on the list, is Aatrox. Aatrox is the newest member to join this OP flex picks, but he is definitely by far the strongest. The new Aatrox is such a fucking disgusting team fighter. This champion, once he gets going and he gets a kill in a team fight, he is unstoppable.
Here comes the chance of a smite, picked up there by Sven. Scare doesn't even need the smite, and the fight is on. Galio over the top, and Cloud9 are walking over FlyQuest. And 3 for 1, make it a fight. And Slash means all 5, and Ace plus the Drake for C9.
We are probably never going to see another game of this champion, hopefully. I don't think any team will be stupid enough to give this champion. But yeah, let's still talk about him. He is basically a AD Vladimir that has CC and a gap closer. So Riot rebalanced Aatrox where his ult no longer gives you a revive. You have to kill someone to get that revive. But they also gave his spells a lot more healing. And yeah, this champion is fucking crazy. You'll see him restoring like 200 to 300 HP per Q hit. Like, this champion is fucking bonkers. He is very resilient in lane. You can't really bully him out, and even if you kill him a few times, once he gets going in teamfight, he is just so fucking crazy strong. Probably the best counter to him is Ryze, another OP champion. You can lane decently versus him, and with your Rune Prison, it's very easy to stop him from closing in on you, and you can also beat this champion in a split push with Ryze. But yeah, like Ryze is probably the only champion that can do well versus him, and even then, as the Ryze side, you can get ganked, and also if the Aatrox side is forcing team fights onto you, you're not as good as Aatrox in the team fight. It isn't even a true counter, it's just a really good pick against it. You can also play stuff like Kennen into it and kind of hold it in lane, but once Aatrox gets into team fight phase, like this champion has no counters. So yeah, that's Aatrox in a nutshell. Play him in solo queue and gain that elo. So second up we have is Silas. So Silas, he actually started out as not that strong of a champion, and then people started to play him more, people started to learn how to animation cancel, and he is incredibly fucking bonkers. So the best part about Silas is how well rounded he is. He's a great mid laner, he's a great top laner, he's incredibly good in lane. You can play him to kind of skirmish, or you can play him to poke by maxing Q. He's just a very, very well-rounded champion. There's like nothing particularly weak about this champ at all.
Yeah, and I think TL made the right call to just give up the inhib. If you try to fight that, you're just going down, but Caps now going in.
Wants to blow up Jensen. Jensen, can he make it out safety for the rest of the team now fishing for a fight? They are going to be take out Mickey actually before anything gets started. Yanko's though barreling his way into the middle of the team. The knockup is there to keep Kurtz out of the back line. Wonder in the midst of everybody manages to kill Double Lifting Smithy, now the last man standing. Caps trying to destroy the team, taking on both solo laners. He's already knocked Impact out of the fight. He's looking for Impact as well. Going to continue the Aatrox ulti. Going to come up. He's still alive. Caps comes through, and Parks gets the triple kill.
He's also an incredibly good scaling champion. Once you hit level 16 on Silas, your ult cooldowns becomes extremely short, so you can pull out multiple ults in a team fight from enemies. Like,
here comes Wonder. He eats an enchanted crystal arrow to the face, and Fake has been able to join the fray. 5 members of G2 trying to push forward, but the minion wave is getting obliterated. Oh! Massive! Manages to steal the null. Faker turns around. He hijacks G2's chances. Listen to that crowd.
yeah, what to say about this champion? He is just so well-rounded. The only reason I have Aatrox rated above him, and also probably Ryze a little bit above him, is these other champions are just more bonkers. Like, all the champions on the list are so fucking good. It's hard to kind of rate them, but I really like Silas for how flexible he is, how easy he is to play compared to some of the other ones, and also just not having any true weakness is what I think makes Silas so strong. So the counters to Silas, I would say, is Ryze and Aatrox. Ryze and Aatrox both lane really well versus Silas and also scale with them. A lot of people end up picking Azir into Silas. That is not a true counter. Do not do that. It is... I don't know why people do it. It's not even that great of a pick into it. Just stop. Stop with Azir into Silas. It's dumb. Silas as a champion is just bonkers and broken. Unless you're getting Ryze or Aatrox, do not play into Silas. Just don't. Next up, we have Ryze. So Ryze is also one of those champions with no true counters. He's an incredibly great split pusher. He's a great laner. He's very easy to gank for. And he's also incredibly hard to gank because of his root. Also getting movement speed whenever he uses Q after using 2 different spells, WE or EE. Like, yeah, what to say about this champ?
7 turret shots. Top side though, Niski's going for a 1v1 exchange with Pobelter, who's given
Really good damage. A solo kill from behind.
Oh, he's not the best team fighter in the world, but once the team fight starts and he's a part of it, he can still be good. He is the best split pusher in the game right now. Like, when the Ryze gets going, he is impossible to stop. Like, as for melee champions, Ryze will just kite the fuck out of you, and for range champions, when Ryze gets on top of you, he'll fucking melt you. So yeah, this champion also doesn't really have true counters, like I said earlier. Froggen did decently into Ryze mid lane with Anivia, and you can also play Syndra into him, but the execution level on this champion is just very low once you learn how to do the combos, and you can get a very good consistent performance out of a good Ryze player. Fucking broken. Like, he's a tanky split pushing team fighter that lanes well, that also scales, that it's easy to gank for. Like, this champion is fucking broken. I cannot wait for Riot to nerf him. Now, next up is Irelia. Irelia is at least more handleable than the other champions we mentioned before, but she is very, very snowbally. So the two I would kind of group together is Irelia, Akali. These champions, once they get going, they are near impossible to stop. Irelia, once she's like decently ahead, she'll delete any kind of squishies off the map. You will see Irelia's 1v2 bot lane so fucking often.
They still don't have the cooldown on Syndra's ult back up.
They might try for the attempt right here if you can find the QE. Nice juke by Cath, but will be hit a little bit. Nice double stun comes in. Ult comes in as well. He's got a lot of a playground to play around with. They find that first stun. They find some damage, but Ignite means he will get the solo kill, the 1v2. And Caps tries it for Jensen. And here comes Mickey! G2 slaughtering Team Liquid.
Her counters are at least a little bit more pronounced than all the champions we mentioned before. Irelia is countered by playing safe and not really giving her kills, and also targeted CC makes it very hard for Irelia because a lot of her strength and survivability comes from mobility, and targeted CC counters that. And also, Galio as a champion is just so fucking good into Irelia. His AoE taunt and also his ultimate, which is like an AoE knockup. These are not tools Irelia likes playing versus very much. So you'll often see teams draft Galio with the Irelia comp or against Irelia. I mean, Galio is just a good champ, but also Galio is so fucking good playing against Irelia. As for champions like Jax can do really well into Irelia when she's laying top lane. In mid lane, people do play LeBlanc into her, but these aren't even like very much true counters. Irelia is just such a fucking good champ. Now, next up are the two nerfed OPs. They got nerfed on 9.11, so they're a little bit more easier to handle. But nonetheless, they are still strong. We have Akali. As I said, she's very similar to Irelia, extremely strong when she gets going, murder squishy, but her strength comes from her mobility way more so, and kind of her slipperiness and how hard she can be to kill and how much time she can buy as a champion.
It will be secured by the side of Invictus Gaming, but now where's the fight gonna go? Balon gonna be caught out here as Mickey X looks to protect Perch somehow. Balon has been killed. If IG tries to continue the fight, they are gonna be 4 versus 5, but the shot goes on a killing spree. Where is he found? No way! Yankos looks to find the kill. He's able to get the shutdown, but he will throw his life away for it.
There's been this power creep that Riot's been having. There's camouflage, and then there's stealth, and then there's obscure. It's basically levels of invisibility. There's like shitty invisibility, and then there's regular invisibility, and there's mega invisibility, which Akali has. Like, her W is so fucking bullshit. You get to buy so much time. And not only that, she has so much kill potential with her Q, with her R, when she buys Gunblade. She has so much mobility. Like, this champion is so fucking hard to kill and so much damage and so much mobility. It's extremely frustrating to play with when she gets ahead. But she does have counters. She is countered by team fights, safe play, and targeted CC, very similar to Irelia. And also, she is very hard to play when there's a Galio on the other team. She can get pulled out of her taunt by a Galio, the AoE knockup, the AoE taunt, just everything that Galio does plays very nicely into Akali. As for counter champion, like the most notable one is Rumble. Even Rumble isn't that great. Once you're in a side lane later on, like the Rumble can get murdered with help of junglers. And when she's in mid lane, people tend to pick stuff like other OPs and LeBlanc into her. LeBlanc's not even a counter matchup. It is a skill matchup that can go well for LeBlanc. So yeah, another OP champ. Lastly, we have Jace. Jace is probably the weakest, and not just due to his strength, his execution level is much higher. There's a reason why NA Jace is a meme. Also, he is kind of like a snowbally lane bully. You can't just go even on Jace. You need to make sure you snowball, and you have to slip push. And he did get nerfed along with Akali, so he is by far the weakest OP. And his counters would be people like to play Ornn versus him in NA. You kind of just survive versus Jace, and then you can open team fights really easily with your R later on. And then in Europe and internationally, G2 has shown Pyke into Jace can be a counter, because Pyke is very sticky in lane. He actually has so much regen from his passive, and when you add the jungler in there, you can kill the Jace over and over again with the Pyke in the jungle. So yeah, those are my OP picks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love talking about more strategic aspects, so this was a very fun video to do. And last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye!